as the world is getting brighter and we are emerging from the dark, deep darkness of winter, um, and we're still kind of in our retrospective era, I thought, how about we talk about some of the episodes of Stargate that we maybe refer to when we want to pick me up, or they put us in a good mood, or they just feel good episodes. Um, and I think we each picked a few. Um, and so then we can share them with each other, but also maybe it's good for people if they're listening to this and maybe they haven't seen all of Stargate or are new to the series, just started rewatching. What episode should I watch when I want to be in a good mood? And so, yeah,
Yes.
I don't know if you want to start or if I should start.
I
I
mean,
don't
I could start with one of them if you want, since you have picked more than me, because it might end up being one of yours, you know?
know. Okay, yes, do that because that's true. That's true.
So one of my favorite episodes that just always makes me happy is with Stargate SG1. It's season 6, episode 8, The Other Guys. So
That is one of
did you
mine.
pick that one?
You totally picked that one. Okay, perfect.
And like I just like have a deep love for, is it Felger or Felger? I
I
never
think it's
pronounce it right.
Felger. It's Felger and Coombs, right?
Felger and Coombs. Okay, I've always said Felger, but I thought I heard someone say Felger once, so I wasn't sure. Um, but yeah, I have a deep love, especially for, is it Felger? He's the one that
Yes.
uh he's not the one with the longer hair, like he's the other guy. That kind
Yeah,
of
he's the
reminds me
other
of
guy.
Steve Carell.
He's the
Um
other guy of the other guys.
And I really love like that episode. I wish there was more with the two of them because just like the way like they are, like their comedic timing with everything is just like great. And yeah, I just like with Felger especially, just like he, like I've said before, he reminds me a lot of Steve Carell, and Steve Carell and him do this thing when they act and like the expressions on their face, like it just like that alone can make something really funny. And so like I just find this whole episode like hilarious because it's just kind of like, these two nerdy scientists that don't realize that like they're screwing up something that was planned to do. And it's just really funny. I don't know. I think it's a really good pick me up if anyone needs that, because even though like there's serious things that kind of happen in it, like it's just you leave the episode just finding it hilarious in my opinion.
Yes, totally. And I have to say, I remember reading somewhere that this being an episode that a lot of people didn't really like. And I was really bummed
What?
because to me, it's one of those episodes that the first time I watched it, it also made me crack up. And I think it's, similar to some of the other, they always have these funny episodes in each season, but I think this particular one, it kind of gives the vibes of, say, how the 100th or the 200th episode is, that it's almost like not entirely serious, but yet I mean, it's obviously like it's not a special episode in that
Yeah.
sense, but to me, it's the characters, like those two characters, they're just, and it almost becomes like this weird slapstick comedy, but yet it's Stargate, and so it's all intelligent and
Yeah.
yeah, no, I really like it too. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of like classic quotes. Like, like when he said, "Oh, I'm not alone. I brought Coombs." And then O'Neill's like, "Oh, great, everybody. He brought Coombs." Like, and
Oh
then
my God.
them having to dress up as Jafar and
Oh yeah.
you know,
That was amazing. That was so funny. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm shocked. I did not know that some people didn't like the episode. Like, I mean, I know that happens, but I feel like when it's things like that with these types of episodes, it really depends on maybe someone's sense of humor, like what they find
yes, yeah.
funny. Because like I feel like everyone finds different things funny. And so sometimes there's been things I've watched where it's like people love it and think it's hilarious. And I'm just kind of sitting there like, oh, yeah, that kind of sucked. Like I didn't find that funny. And then like, so like for me, like this like type of humor, like I just really, really love. And so to me, like, yeah, I would watch that episode a million times because I think it's freaking hilarious and I love those two. Um, and yeah, like you says, there's probably a million great quotes from it, none of which I remember. But if I'm like, if
That
I'm
sounded
actually watching it, what?
that was like very O'Neill of you to say, none of which I remember. It's kind of like, I felt like that was a very O'Neillism right there.
What can I say?
But yeah, no, I also feel like it's kind of an episode that maybe it's starting to get a little bit of a renaissance because I did see some discourse recently where someone was actually talking good about it. But I do remember some years ago seeing people just they don't like Felger and Coombs. And I mean, for people that don't
That
know the
breaks my
episode,
heart.
I mean, they're basically these two scientists who are kind of, I mean, they're depicted in the show a little bit as like fanboys, like typical, like what you would imagine sci-fi fanboys. And so of course, they're fanning and nerding over the, SG1,
Yeah,
kind of like how we would if we were, working with SG1. We'd probably go, oh my God, it's Colonel O'Neill, like.
just like that. We'd say it just like that.
It's like that. Um, but so they actually basically something happens and they kind of misinterpret the situation. And in the end, they try and rescue the team, but everything goes wrong, of course. And it's like, but in a funny way. And then, of course, in the end, everything is fine. Nothing goes wrong, other than maybe SG1 are a little bit irritated, but also grateful, but also a little bit irritated. Um, and so it's kind of cool to see this dynamic, I think. And again, it's a classic kind of funny Stargate episode that is just kind of cheerful and
Yes.
not necessarily consequential at all, but especially I found like I think when the first time we talked about season 6 and we said that some of the material was a bit darker, and so this is like a very light episode sprinkled on.
Yes.
I can't remember if how it happens in because I find like the darkest episode of season 6 really to be the Night Walkers, and then I think the one where they run into the people that are being transformed.
Mm.
Those are kind of the darkest ones to me. So I can't remember where this fits in there, but
Oh yeah, I would have to look. I'm not sure actually. I mean, I could quickly look and see actually on
yeah.
my little app to see if it um so the episode that was before it was Shadow Play.
Uh-huh.
Um which it says Quinn is conflicted when an old professor from his own planet
Oh,
asks SG1 to help stage a coup against the Calonan government in order to stop a civil war. Should SG1 allow the planet to destroy itself, or are they placing themselves in needless danger? So that was right before
that was a
that
very dark
one.
episode. That was a
Um,
very emotionally dark episode. So yeah.
yeah. And even before that one, that's when O'Neill was captured and tortured.
Okay,
So
so
there
yeah, so
was
very
two like very, very dark episodes. Let's see what was after the other guys was Allegiance. Um, which was fleeing a Goa'uld attack. The Tok'ra take refuge at the SGC Alpha site occupied by rebel Jaffa. Centuries of bad blood between the two races boils as an unseen assassin wreaks havoc on the camp. So that was also dark. So yeah, so I think it's actually like as odd as it seems to kind of be placed in between those or after some of those really dark episodes. I think that's perfect.
me too,
Like,
actually.
I wonder if that was like intentional because they knew, like, I'd be actually curious. I'd be really interested to find out how they figure out
Hmm.
like the order of episodes and like what type of episodes to have and because that's something that they do so well. I'd be so like interested to talk to one of the writers, like or
Oh,
however
totally.
however that works. I'm sure it's like a team thing that has to be decided, but like maybe is that what the showrunner does? I don't know, but I don't know what a showrunner does.
Yeah.
um but yeah, I'd be curious to like find out like the behind the scenes like things that happen to figure that kind of stuff out for a show. I think that's kind of fascinating actually. Because I
Yeah,
think
me
that's
too.
something that they do really, really well. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And if anyone listening knows,
Yeah,
leave a
tell us.
comment.
Yeah.
Tell us in the comment section.
Yeah. Did you want to say one of yours now?
Sure, I'll say one that's actually similar to that because I kind of grouped them, and the two that I had grouped together, the one similar to the other guys, that is another one, like bad guys. So it's the episode from season 10 where they go through the gate and they end up crashing like basically some kind of benefit party or something at this museum, and everyone misinterprets the situation and they have to pretend to be like taking them as hostage, and it becomes this very weird fake hostage situation where Daniel is the one in charge. And to me that is so hilarious because of Daniel, mostly because of Daniel being the one in charge. And then he takes this like, you guys are hostages, we're your captors. There's a whole etiquette, and like he's like pretending to be this bad. So that one is one that when it's, and I think like actually Freya too, when she needs a laugh, she'll sometimes pop on that episode.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I forgot about that episode because I'm not there yet on my rewatch with Taylor. Um, yeah, that is a good one. I would say I probably don't like that one as much as the other guys, but like that is actually like funny, like you mentioned, like with it being Daniel and everything and how that whole thing happens. It is quite amusing.
Well, I also feel like there's something about in season 10 I will always say is my actual favorite season of SG1. I think because they brought a lot of, I mean, pretty much every character appears in season 10 as well because they have parallel universes that bring back some characters that were there previously. They have O'Neill appearing in a few episodes. There's also these Atlantis crossovers. And I think somehow the characters are developed like they're so fully developed and fully themselves at this point that when you do things like this, it's just much more like it's even funnier than it was early on to me,
Yeah.
like because they're so deep into their characters at this point. And so yeah, to me that was kind of a that's like just it's a silly episode. It's not consequential. I mean, I guess there's also this part where it's a bit more amusing to me because it's also in a museum, and like there's this guy that's like trying to help them, and he's actually called Cicero, which is the same name as an ancient Roman writer and senator, actually, I think too.
Oh,
The well, very rich guy. He was, anyways, eventually like exiled, but or I can't remember the name, prescribed. Anyways,
huh,
doesn't
cool.
matter. It's like irrelevant. Um, but anyways, because there's this aspect of like kind of similar to like museums where we are, and this sort of there's this like cultural guy there that he was like an archaeologist or cultural historian or whatever, and that was kind of cool. But yeah, it's one of those things and then there was the weird security guard, and so which was super like like a parody kind of thing, like parody situation. And so again, it was similar to that where like the other guys where it's one of those humorous episodes where probably it wasn't taking itself overly seriously. Um,
Yeah.
and you pop it on like for guilty pleasure fun, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And if I remember correctly, like when they were talking, like, was it through like, how are they communicating actually with the people to say that was it walkie-talkies?
Some kind of radio type thing, yeah.
Something similar to that of a
Yeah.
walkie-talkie. Um, but like when they would talk to the guy that like thought it was like a hostage situation, like if I remember correctly, he was also very like stereotyped of like when you've seen like those old like 80s or 90s movies where it's like there's a hostage takeover like kind of situation. The way he was acting too was kind of like a stereotype of that. Like I don't know how to
Oh yeah.
explain it, but it's just kind of like the acting style seemed very stereotypical of something like that.
Yes, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. So there's a little bit of parody in that direction too, for sure, for sure. And I mean, I guess that would be during a time when there were probably a lot of movies like that and stuff out, right? It was kind of
Yeah, yeah,
that.
for sure. So I had one more I picked. I don't know if I should mention it yet. It is from Stargate Atlantis.
Okay, shoot.
So should I mention my
Hmm.
second one? My second one was season 2, episode 4 called Duet. And so the description of that on
Ah,
this was where it says a technical glitch during their rescue from a Wraith ship forces McKay and Lieutenant Cadman to coexist inside McKay's body. So that episode. Oh my God, I love so much because he's just so funny. Like, you
Yeah, that's a
know,
good one. That's a good one.
it's so funny to see him like pretend like he's the female character. Like it just cracks me up every time.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because there's and then I don't like him and uh Beckett kiss in that episode.
Yes, yeah, yeah, I think so. And just the whole thing's really funny because I feel like what the acting kind of reminds me of that I think David Hewlett does really well is it reminds me of if you've ever seen like the older movies with like Jim Carrey where it's like Liar Liar. Oh no, not
Mhm.
Liar Liar. It was it Liar Liar? Where he basically can't lie, so then he
Mhm.
acts. It's really
Yes, that's it.
funny. But there was also another one that I can't remember now what it was called.
Wasn't there a movie he was in called Me, Myself, and I, where
That
he
was
had
it. That was
split
it. Huh.
personality?
Thank God. Thank you.
I've never even seen that movie. I didn't see
Oh my
that.
gosh. Yeah, no,
Oh,
that
Me,
one was
Myself,
really
and
funny.
Irene, that's what it is. But I
Me,
didn't see
myself,
it.
and Irene. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And so in that it's just kind of like obviously not the exact same concept or anything like that, but like it's just like similar like acting styles where I think they just do it really, really well and it's very like funny to me. And so yeah, a lot of the Stargate Atlantis episodes where it was kind of focused on McKay. Like I always like really loved those episodes just because I love that actor so much.
Me too, me too.
He does so well. And I think they always gave him like the really good storylines in Atlantis too.
Mhm.
But yeah, with that one I would say that that would definitely be kind of like a feel good episode in the sense that it's just like so obnoxious and funny. Um that
That's a
yeah,
good
I
one.
would
That's a good
definitely
one.
suggest that one. Um,
Well, especially, I think it's especially funny in the context of that's in season 2 of Atlantis. So McKay is still kind of in his arrogant ass era, like more so. He hasn't
yeah.
fully started to develop. I feel like a lot of McKay's full character development happened after Beckett's death.
Oh,
Like, I mean, I think it started
yeah.
before then, but a lot of it, because he started developing when he was with Kate, but then also I think it progressed further after
Yeah.
Beckett's death.
That's a good point.
But this is like early on, right? So he's
Yeah.
still kind of in his arrogant ass phase, and then to be put in that situation, yeah, this is like, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to agree. I have to say in Stargate in general, all of the actors are always put in these circumstances where they have to like be someone else or be a million different characters or suddenly they're way older or suddenly they're in a different reality. And I think they all do such an amazing job of this. Like
Yeah.
it's very impressive, I have to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. I just feel like with all of the casting that they've ever done for main cast or supporting cast or any of that is just like so spot on. I can't think of like
100%.
one episode where anything felt weird because I have watched things sometimes where it's like a character comes on and you're just like something feels weird about their acting. Like what I hate the most, and this is kind of going off on a little side quest for a second, um, is that like if you've ever watched like a movie where then they'll suddenly have like a non-actor like as a sports person like maybe they'll have like a surfer or something like I remember once watching this surfing movie and they would have these like world famous surfers make a cameo in the movie or like when they've had basketball players make a cameo in a movie but they've never acted before and then they say a line and it's done in such a little kid kind of way that's doing
Yeah.
their first play. And I'm not claiming I couldn't do anything
Yeah.
better. I mean, I'm not saying I
Yeah,
could
I
do
know.
any better, but like that's how it always is. And it just makes me die a little inside.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean though. Because I mean, obviously it's not your expertise. I mean,
Yeah.
It's like asking the actor to do that thing. I mean, that's not going to be there if you write
Exactly.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's funny though, like on that note, like on another side quest, I was, as I said last night, I was kind of working and having my Stargate going, and one of the episodes that came on was Need. The one where Daniel goes in the sarcophagus, he like
Oh,
with the princess and everything.
yeah.
And it was funny because Martin was saying, yeah, the first when I saw this a long time ago, I always thought the way he like his acting was weird in this episode, but now like it makes so much sense. Like I get it, probably maybe because when you understand addiction, like his acting makes so much sense. Like he gets it bang on. Like how
Yeah.
an addict acts, like it's perfect. But I could totally see if you're like have no idea, and I mean depending where you grew up
And
or what
that's like
you
the
grew up
first
around
episode you see. Yeah.
or the first thing you see where you have never seen people like I mean I've also seen many many movies where people are addicts or I mean again certain parts of the world you see things more than other parts of the world as well so
Yeah.
if you're not around that you wouldn't know how people are behaving when they're withdrawals or when
True.
they're
Yeah.
but actually
Yeah.
he gets it completely bang on like even the way he acts when it comes down he's like oh yeah yeah that's right that's right that's right and he's like acting completely out of it and it's like yeah
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good point with that one. Like I wouldn't have thought of it, but yeah, because I think um, like if you think of like images of people that have maybe been like addicted to stuff, like if you've ever seen anything like on like a news report or something, like you do kind of like see like it's kind of like odd, very very odd behavior that makes you feel uncomfortable, and it does feel a bit over the top, right? It's kind of like
Mhm.
such unnatural sometimes movements and different things like that. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because addicts a lot of the times, I mean, I think where like I think for Martin where it changed the perception a little bit, they act like kids trying to manipulate something, right? Like when a kid
Ah,
really, really wants something or they're really into something or whatever, and I think that they start to behave like that, actually. It's a very similar thing, like,
yeah.
which is I mean, I guess it's probably the similar mechanism in the brain or whatever, but that's interesting. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Huh.
mean, but it's funny because that never occurred to me because to me that's just naturally, yeah, how addict acts.
Yeah.
But I also was older when I saw it. I mean, I could imagine seeing it at 13, you wouldn't know. But then again, I watched the Basketball Diaries at 13, so who knows what I would have thought.
Oh, okay. So you meant when he saw it as like a teenager.
I don't know when he first saw it. I
Oh,
don't know how
okay.
old he was, but I
Yeah.
know like that episode, it was what, 98, so it could have been I mean, I watched it late, like 2006.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah.
know. But also, Austria teenager, you probably, I mean, I guess you see people drinking and people smoking but I think there's a lot less like heavy drug use. So maybe you
Hmm.
see less of that kind of particular behavior. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that
But
makes sense.
anyways, just an interesting note about the acting quality in a show that is actually that good. Like it's quite
Yeah.
good. It's really good. So um, but how about then I give an Atlantis one
Okay.
because like I've actually seen Stargate much more, and so I know there's more in Atlantis that I'd probably pop on. Like now you reminded me that one duet is classic. But the one that just immediately came in my head was the two-parter in season three, The Return, which is oddly like I know it's a heavy episode with like
Can
the
you
replicators.
remind me what that's about?
That's the one where the replicators take over Atlantis. I think they pretend to be the ancients or no, no,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, yeah. The new ancients come back or the ancients come back and then the replicators take over and then they have to go into Atlantis and
Yeah.
O'Neill is back and Woolsey's back.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And honestly,
Yeah.
it's the O'Neill and Woolsey team for me that
Yes. Ah, yeah. It's a shame they didn't have more things together
yeah,
because I
like
don't think they
that.
did,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I mean, of course, when I think what makes it classic is it's O'Neill and Woolsey out of the context of when O'Neill was in, SG1 or in a
Yeah.
circumstance where he was
Yeah.
fighting again. It's like they were working together, and there were so many classic lines, funny things from that. And I think, again, season 10 of Stargate, I just love. And so when you have season 10 kind of running concurrently with season 3 of Atlantis, this is just such a peak for me of ever watching the show because it's like I think Atlantis is really entering its like when a show like hits its perfect stride once
Mhm.
it gets through the first two seasons and it's getting in this perfect stride where the characters, you're really into them and you're really into the plot and things are developed, but not too developed yet. And so, but at the same time, like this season 10 of Stargate is going, and it's like that was just completely peak. Like I love that
Yes.
part. So that's fun for me.
Yeah,
Um,
because even though it's like serious stuff going on, it's kind of more of like the dynamics with the characters that you feel kind of
yes,
helps it feel like kind of like a go-to thing to kind of uplift you in a sense.
exactly, oddly enough. And
Yeah,
so, yeah,
yeah,
which is funny that that one popped in my head. I have to say, I intentionally didn't include Urgo or Window of Opportunity in my list because I have a feeling most people, if you said, oh, feel good episodes of Stargate, they would immediately say Window of Opportunity, Urgo, 100 and 200.
yeah.
And so those are kind of like, I think the classic, funny, um,
Yeah,
well-known.
those are like the ones that a lot of people would say. I too was trying to think of just like what are ones that I've just really loved that I always get like kind of giddy to see. And that's
Yeah.
why I chose the ones that I chose because those are just kind of the ones that came to mind. Um, that like, yeah, I don't know if you get like that. Like it's kind of like I get like weirdly giddy. Like I get like I get weirdly giddy and excited when I know it's just kind of silly episodes.
Well, it was funny because when you're reading off all the episodes of season 6, just a minute ago, I'm like, oh man, I want to watch that one. Oh man, I want to watch that one. I'm like, dang it. Like, why do I have to hear the episode synopsis? Because then I just go, oh yeah, I want to watch that episode.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Question, did you have any from, I mean, I know like you've seen more of it than me. Did you choose any from, which I doubt it, but did you choose any from Universe?
I intentionally did not choose any from Universe,
Okay.
but I don't
Okay.
know if I would have.
Yeah.
Like, because I thought of ones from SG1, and then I thought, well, I can't, I probably have less of an ability to think of Atlantis because I've seen it kind of officially twice, but there was such a gap that I don't quite remember it. Again, I'd need another rewatch probably,
Yeah.
and then I would be like, oh yeah, that episode. Because I know there's some. I'm certain that there's some episodes that were like super goofy or that I just really loved, or they had like a really interesting and positive feeling for me. But I just can't remember them
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
I it's just how I am when I go through. I have a hard time with plots. A lot of times I have to watch it multiple times. Um,
Yeah.
but I didn't think of any from Universe intentionally. But as you ask me, I'm not sure if I would have thought of any from Universe
Yeah.
specifically as a feel-good thing.
Yeah. It's just the type like if you want something that gets like and with all of it, I feel like it's very like intense, so you can't really take a separate like some of the ones we've chosen, for example, technically you could watch some of them
Uh-huh.
without ever seeing anything else and still enjoy it and not necessarily need to know what happened before.
Uh-huh.
Kind of, not fully, but like certain things might not make sense, but it's not that big of a deal if you don't
Exactly.
fully know.
Exactly.
But I feel like with Universe, it's kind of very expertly layered into each other that I can't think of watching one without having to see the others to know what's going on at all. And it's
No.
all very much intense. Um,
Yeah.
and like I've always rattled on before, is it took me like half that of season one to really get into it, but then I loved it. But I'm still kind of slowly watching it because I'm also watching other things. So I haven't gotten too far into season two yet, but I am in season two. Um, and so when I think of Universe, I don't think of like those feel good episodes. That's not to like, you know, talk crap about it because I really love Stargate Universe, but I think in terms of feel good episodes, it just doesn't fit that same like
No.
equation or whatever you would call it for how they put together SG1 and Atlantis. They follow a similar format, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. I mean, it's
but
like asking
yeah.
someone, "Oh, what's your favorite feel-good episode of like Call the Midwife or House?" It's like, no, everything is really depressing,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
exactly. Yeah.
mean, um, it's funny though, because on the note of ones where you might need some context, I did pick also the Pegasus Project
Mm.
from like it's like the third or fourth episode, I think, in season 10.
Okay.
Picked it because specifically, if you've seen Atlantis or if you're watching Atlantis concurrently, that episode is gold because it's the first, like the first kind of major Atlantis and well, I mean, I guess that's not the first major one. There's kind of one in season 9, I think, but it is a big crossover where
Oh,
they're
okay.
actually in Atlantis and there's banter between them. And I mean, the first time I watched it, I wasn't watching Atlantis concurrently, and I still really liked it. You know,
Hmm.
because they go there, and this is like, so this is where they find out about the lost, more information about Merlin and the lost city and everything like this, and where Morgan Le Fay is the like the hologram. And I mean, I loved it. But when I saw it when I was watching Atlantis, and you're familiar with the Atlantis characters, and they're all sitting there, and they just have this banter in the, in the briefing room or whatever, it is perfect. It's just
Yeah.
amazing. And so,
Yeah.
and then just the connections between all the characters, especially if you're kind of watching everything, it's like such fan service to kind of
Yeah.
have those worlds collide.
Yeah, I would argue that any of the crossovers are kind
Yeah,
of
oh,
like
for
those
sure.
types of episodes that, in a sense, regardless of the topic, it's a feel-good episode in the sense that it's
Totally.
exciting. It's
Yeah,
exciting to
right?
see, them cross over into each other's shows. So like, yeah, that alone makes it exciting. So it doesn't necessarily have to not be like a dark episode, but it because of the crossover. Um, Although I guess then someone could come back and tell me, well, in universe, there's some slight crossovers but it's done in a different way. It's just like I feel like that whole like part of the Stargate like franchise or whatever is just its own separate thing.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess on that note, I probably would consider that episode with Teal'c and Ronan also a feel-good episode. The one where Teal'c and Ronan are together in Atlantis.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I think it's like for the Midway station or whatever. And then they kind of, I think that there's like some point where Teal'c says indeed, and Ronan is like, you say that a lot. And Teal'c's like, I hadn't noticed or something ridiculous like that. I'm just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so brilliant. I love that
Oh my
episode
gosh.
too.
Yes.
So that's one I didn't think of. But do you have any more? Because I
I
have
don't have any more. I probably would have had more if I would have really thought through it, but I just thought of a couple. So,
because I have a couple more that are, I guess they're different things. So maybe I'll start with another one because it's funny that this is probably the first thing that would come to my mind if someone asked me a Stargate episode to watch and I wanted to give them something that would also put them in a good mood, and it's the Knox.
oh,
Which isn't,
yeah.
I know it's not classically like a feel-good episode. It's not really a funny episode. It's actually, especially for the first season, it's not really a light episode. It's kind of a dark episode.
Yeah.
But it's just to me, and I tried to avoid, I didn't put in, because there's definitely a couple episodes where I could think where I just love that they forced me to think, but it's not
Yeah.
really in a bright way, like absolute
Yeah.
power or something. I couldn't
Yeah.
include this one. Even though this is one of my favorite episodes, I couldn't include this. It makes you think, but it also has this dark feeling. But the Knox, there's just something so optimistic about it.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah.
from the perspective of this idea of fighting with not fighting.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just also something personal for me that I'm a huge fan of
Yeah.
peace. I'm
Yeah.
a big fan
Yeah.
of pacifism and this kind of thing. And so, I mean, I know not everybody's a fan of this, and especially people watching the show maybe are not a fan of this, but I just thought this concept of like, this is like a dream to me that this concept that you could avoid wars because you could just hide weapons is like a dream come true for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And so when you think of something that is like escaping you of the current reality and in a reality where you'd love to live, like this would be complete dream.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've always loved the Knox and I've loved like the kind and wise nature of the Knox. And it's always kind of like an episode that I'm just always excited to see the Knox. Like I always wish there was like more. And then from a strictly like visual standpoint and a nerdy standpoint for myself, like two things out of Stargate that I would always want like a makeup artist to help me be. One is a wraith, and two is like someone from like a Nox. I would love like to be made up like, and I know like many people have done this like in cosplay and stuff. You know, but I just don't have the knowledge to know how to put all that together. That stresses me out. So I just wish like someone with that knowledge could just help me and I could dress up as the Nox and then a different time I could dress up as a Wraith.
That's so funny. They're like two opposing characters. But
True, yeah.
I can ask Odin because he's really into cosplaying.
Hmm.
And he was also talking about some different cosplay for stuff and things you can do. And so he might also know where you can get things. He has his ways of, I
Yeah.
don't know, there's like package come every day for Odin.
Yeah. I
Random
mean,
cosplay
oh,
stuff.
that's cool. I mean, the Comic-Con that I've been to here in Edinburgh, because I don't currently drive and I take the bus. Like I've never felt comfortable just like taking the bus in my cosplays.
Ah, okay, I
So
see.
like that's part of it is that like I guess you could get a taxi. I do need to get a car here. It's been long enough, but yeah, that's part of the reason I just felt like a little weird about it.
I mean, here when there are Comic Cons, there's always people in the like the tram and stuff with the
Yeah.
costumes. Because actually, like even if you have a car, it's really stupid to drive there because of the parking and the pain in the butt.
True, true.
So
I'm
like,
sure, yeah, I'm sure it's just me being self-conscious. I'm sure
you know
it'd
what
be
you need?
fine.
You need somebody to go with you in a costume because I get it.
Yeah,
Like going alone, like if you're the only one in a costume,
yeah,
you probably feel like everybody's like. But if you go with some people that are
yeah.
dressed way
Like
weirder
with
than you,
another like adult, like because like Taylor's once when she did dress up once. I'm trying to remember though, did we go on the bus? We may have went in the taxi. Yeah, we went in the taxi that time. But yeah, I think if it's like someone not related to me, like
yeah, yeah, I
if you
understand.
guys were here and like went on the bus with me, then I'd feel less like embarrassed by it. But for some reason, if it was just me and Taylor and we're both like full on dressed up, like
So it's
yeah.
okay. We'll come and I'll dress up like Hathor or something and like make really like think comments to people on the bus like you will pay for your insolence and then people will just think I'm crazy and they won't even know your costume. It's totally okay.
Especially in Scotland, that would be amazing. And then the bus drivers would get massive like stink face, like expression. They'd be like, "What are you doing?" Oh my God, that would be amazing. So, anywho, so did you say all of the ones that you had thought up then of episodes?
I have two more.
Oh, okay.
So the second one that's similar to the Nox is the Tok'ra.
Oh,
And
yeah.
which is not, it's also another one that's not total, it's like it's not humorous, it's not funny, but it's a really special episode for me because of the way that I think that one of the coolest things that they did with Sam's character is bring her dad in and then kind of create her dad to be this liaison for these, amazing beings.
Hmm.
And the whole circumstance, how everything happened, it was so sweet. It's kind of like, you think of like Heroes as this dual part that's like a complete tearjerker and with a sad ending.
Hmm.
And I think the Tok'ra is like the opposite ending. Your dad is
Yeah.
sick, he has cancer. It feels like it's gonna end with, goodbye. And in the end, it ends with like, oh my God, he gets to be a Tok'ra and one of the eldest and most powerful Tok'ra. And I mean, and also like I kind of want to, whenever I watch that, I'm like, man, I wish it could be a Tok'ra.
Oh my God, no.
It's like I want to be a Nox. I want to be a Tok'ra. I don't know. I would love the like extra couple hundred years and then also being able to recover really quick.
Mm,
Because
yeah,
imagine like your health and athletic abilities you could have if you were a Tok'ra.
true. Tokas definitely should figure skate.
I mean, I'm trying to think like imagine Vala if she was a Tok'ra. She could train like 15 hours a day.
And Vala, you're talking about your daughter who figure skates, just
Yes.
putting that out there, not Vala from
I
SG1.
forget like that's true. We keep mentioning Vala and Taylor like but yes, exactly, exactly. No, it would be amazing. But yeah, no, that's one of the ones for me that I think of as a very positive episode. And I think probably people wouldn't, it wouldn't be like their first pick, like a feel good thing. But when you think about it, it's like actually it's really like it's like almost like Hallmark movie. Like, you know, woman is in the
Yeah.
military. She's kind of like her dad is not really proud of her life because he thinks she's doing something that is less than he thought she would be able to do. And, you know, she doesn't have a mom. And so her, and then like her dad kind of always wanted her to be a boy. So they don't have the greatest relationship or whatever. And then like, you know, something happens, he has cancer, but she's stuck away and they, you know, they can't get together to say goodbye and she's sad. But at the same time, this guy enters her life that, you know, was random. It's like a soap opera, actually. Like he's randomly the mate of the person, the gold she had for, or the tokra she had for like, you know, half a day. And so suddenly there's this other guy that gets involved with her while she's also in love with this other guy, you know, O'Neill. So it starts to get very soap opera-y, but then she has feelings for this guy that she can't explain because she had, you know, the Tok'ra that was into him. And now, so it's like all this heavy, she's sad about her dad, but then this guy is here falling in love with her. And, you know, and then her dad survives
Oh my
in the
God. I don't know if that helped you sell that episode or go against it. Because it's like if you actually hear all of that, it sounds so dumb. But somehow it was an amazing episode and it was really good.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know
that's
if I would initially think of it for myself as a feel good episode, just because I feel things like as if I'm there, and then if you have to deal with like him having the cancer and all of that, that's like, oh, like it's so sad. But like, I could see how for some that could maybe be like a go-to, maybe slight pick me up moment.
you know, I see like in these last two, I see this like sort of um like theme, a running theme that maybe is also like personal for me that I would love to be one of these things and
Yeah.
not for a Tok'ra.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like your excitement for being one of those things
Yeah.
like goes into your viewing process.
Yeah. But and I think it's like that and then also the optimism of each
Yeah.
thing. You know, like
Yeah.
one is like, oh, we can conquer anything. We can even conquer like cancer basically with just this, you know, anything is conquerable. And then the other one is you don't have to fight. Like, and this is like, what are all the dream when you're like little kid in school? Oh, what do you want? And you're like, I want world peace and I want a cure for cancer.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
what is it? Like, it's like, okay, the Nox and the Tok'ra.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like fulfilling every childhood dream.
Yeah. Oh.
And now you'll never watch those episodes the same again. I'm sorry. Um, I have one final one.
Okay.
It's kind of another unpopular episode, um, but I can't help it, and it's Mobius because I love Nerdy Daniel. I love Nerdy Sam. I don't care if people don't like them. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, and Sam and Jack kiss in that one, but kind of not
True.
really. Plus, there's time travel, which is like a personal thing of mine that I love. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people don't like it, but it's one of my guilty pleasure love it episodes.
Yeah. I could see that. I love nerdy Sam and nerdy Daniel. Um, it's almost like if they could have like made like an episode solely about those two, I
Yes,
would like that would probably be on my list. Like I
I
think
bet.
if it was just that, like that would be on my list going along with the other guys and all of that. Like
I bet anything that if they had the concept of Kino or something similar when this episode came out, that we would probably have some
yes.
online web episodes of like a day in the life of Nerdy
Oh
Sam
my
and Nerdy
gosh.
Daniel.
I would love that so much, like truly. And you know what this has made me think of? Like, it would be really cool. Like, I know this is talking about like pick me up like episodes or like go to episodes that, make you feel good afterwards kind of thing. Um, but like I'd be really curious to like find out like what people's like not even so much episodes as it is like favorite clips of things that happen within an
Yeah.
episode, because as you were talking, it's like things are kind of like flashing through my memory of things that I don't even remember what episodes they're from, that I find like hilarious. Like one of them being when Rodney got an arrow in the butt, and
Oh yeah.
like
That did not just happen.
and or the time like in the beginning of Atlantis where he can never figure out how to use a gun properly and he kind of just runs and shoots, like it's kind of like things like that where it's like clips out of probably more serious episodes that, but it just helps lighten it up and it makes it hilarious, that it maybe wouldn't necessarily be like my top episode of going to watch, but like it's like favorite little clips. I think it'd be really cool actually sometime if we could manage to like even somehow show like the clips. I don't know if we can do that on YouTube or not, but like how sometimes you can like share a certain amount and it's okay to do so.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
But it'd be really cool to kind of like go through our own, and if people also commented theirs, and then we could like make a whole episode about it. That would be fun to kind of
That
like
would
go
be,
through ours and then what other people said too.
yeah, that would actually be a really good idea. I would be really curious to hear what are some of the favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Because now that you just bringing it up right now, I'm thinking, oh yeah, there was that time that Sam punched Ball. That was kind of like a cute classic moment, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Very
Um,
cool. So, yeah. So, was that everything then?
I think that was all of mine. That's it. I went through them all. I mean, I'm sure, like I said, I would probably be able to come up with like 30, but I
Yeah.
tried to pick the ones that were both meaningful and also not window of opportunity, Urgo, or 100 or 200, because I know those are kind of like the go-tos. And it's
Yeah.
interesting that you did the same thing because I actually didn't say not to do that
Yeah.
because I was curious. Like I just thought, well, I won't do it, but let's see what you do. And you actually didn't do it too. Like you picked
Yeah.
some different ones.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so we were psychically linked.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, I guess our last thing would just be ask to people to comment below of like what their episodes would be. Did they agree with any of the ones that we chose?
And then did you disagree with them? Because I
Oh
we
yeah.
also want to hear if you say no, that's a terrible episode. It's the most depressing episode ever. I'm sure there will be some people that disagree. So
Yeah,
hit
or
us
you
with
just
it.
don't like that type of humor, which I'd be
Yeah.
very sad about, but I'll deal.
But yeah, let us know and also drop some of yours for sure.